chosen ones. Listen closely. What I am about to share is not something that can be ignored. This is a summons. This is a trumpet sound in the unseen, and it is being delivered with urgency because God has decided that what has been hidden must be unveiled to you. Now, if you are hearing this, if you are watching this at this exact moment, do not call it coincidence. Do not call it timing. Heaven does not waste moments like this. The Lord has drawn you here on purpose because something with weight and fire is unfolding in your life, and it can no longer remain covered. And yes, God says in your own strength, you couldn't handle what is coming. And that is exactly why He is revealing it to you now. Because the shift that is about to touch your life is not small, and it is not soft. It is a turning of the page so loud in the spirit that even the resistance you have been feeling will make sense in hindsight. You are stepping into a new chapter where the prayers you have carried are no longer trapped in wishful thinking. They are moving toward you. They are traveling with assignment. They are closing distance. You have asked God, and the Lord is answering you in a way that will prove He was listening the whole time. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. 1 John 5:14, hear me, He heard you. He did not overlook your struggle, and now He is moving in a way that will make it undeniable that it is your time. The shift you are about to experience is unlike anything you have felt before. And the urgency is not a fear tactic. It is a spiritual indicator. It is the sign of a door opening. Things are coming into position with the speed that will make you stop and whisper. Only God could do this. And this is not merely a change of attitude or a new perspective. This is deeper than motivation. This is a divine energetic transformation. The kind of inner recalibration that lifts you from surviving into governing, from enduring into ascending, from asking into receiving. The Lord is elevating you, not to make you proud, but to make you useful, not to make you famous, but to make you fruitful. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. 1 Peter 5-6, your lifting has a due time, and your due time is showing up. You are being brought into the next level of your spiritual journey, and the evidence will not be private forever. The things you have hoped for, things you barely dared to say out loud, are beginning to fall into place. And when they do, you will stand in awe, not of your own strength, but of God's precision. But before you step into the fullness of this destiny, you need understanding. Not because God is complicated, but because alignment matters. If you don't discern how the shift operates, you can resist what you prayed for. You can misinterpret the process and call it chaos. When it is actually construction, you can mistake pruning for punishment. When it is preparation, Jesus said, no one puts new wine into old wineskins. Mark 2:22. Translation. What God is pouring into you requires new capacity. It requires a renewed inner structure. It requires you to move with Him instead of dragging yesterday into tomorrow. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to take a moment right now, hit that like button, subscribe, and help us reach 45,000 subscribers. And I want you to leave a comment with the number 99. Let that number be your point of agreement, your signal that you are not just listening, but receiving. Let it be a marker in the spirit that you are ready for what is coming. Not because a number is magic, but because agreement is powerful. If two of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Matthew 18:19. If you are truly ready, you will keep watching because music deep inside your spirit already knows this message is for you. And I need to say this plainly, If you are not ready for what God is about to do, you may not even make it to the end of this message, not because you are being punished, but because your old mindset will try to escape the pressure of new truth. But if you are ready, if your heart is open, everything can shift for you from this moment forward, because God is no longer hiding it. He has decided it is time. So now, let's go deeper. You have always known there was something different about you, haven't you? Not the kind of different people chase for attention, but the kind that makes you feel like you were born with an inner compass, pointing somewhere most people never look. A stirring in your soul, a quiet whisper that kept returning even when you tried to silence it with distraction. You sensed it in the way you see beyond what people say. You sensed it in the way ordinary life felt too small for the weight you carry. That was not random. That was not you being too much. That was the imprint of calling. Now, God is about to reveal something massive, something that will shake you in the deepest places, not to harm you, but to awaken you. The truth you have been waiting for is arriving. This moment will change how you see your life. You are not wandering aimlessly. Faye, music Faye, you are not here for nothing. You are here because heaven wrote your existence with purpose. For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works which God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10, prepared in advance, that means this was not invented yesterday. This was set long before you understood it. It is not by accident that you reached this exact point in your story. You were chosen, and there is a power within you that has been dormant, not dead, not absent, just waiting for the proper hour to awaken. Like a seed under soil, silent but alive, waiting for rain. The Lord has been guiding you here, bringing you to this moment to hear what your spirit has been trying to confirm for a long time. God is calling you, and it is time to listen. This is not coincidence. This is destiny. You may have felt urgency. You may have felt a strange pull towards something greater, something holy, something you cannot fully name. That was not your imagination. That was God getting your attention, not to scare you, but to gather you. The Lord says, today you will begin to understand the magnitude of the calling that has been sitting on your life. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19:21, your purpose is prevailing. It is rising through confusion. It is breaking through resistance. Are you ready to answer? Because here is the truth. Your life was not an accident. You were not simply born because of random chance. You were brought forth by divine will. God orchestrated a path, and every step, your struggles, your triumphs, your delays, your detours, was used to lead you here. You wondered why things didn't always make sense, why you couldn't follow the normal path the way others seemed to. But your journey was never meant to be ordinary. Heaven does not train royalty and comfort. Heaven builds leaders in hidden music places. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Psalm 138:8. Not might. Everything you have experienced so far has been preparing you for what is coming. You were placed on earth in this time, in this generation, music in this location. For a reason. There is no mistake in your existence. Even the parts you thought were wasted are being redeemed. Even the years you thought were lost are being repurposed. God is not just restoring you, he is reassigning you. And as you reflect, you may have been taught that your parents were your only source, your only origin, your only explanation. But the reality goes deeper. Your true origin is not limited to the natural realm. Your earthly parents were the doorway, not the designer. The designer is God. Your soul was not assembled by human hands. It was commissioned music by heaven. The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life. Job chapter 33-4. That breath is your true beginning. And when you understand that, music, you stop living like you are confined to material limitations. You begin living like someone whom music carries divine assignment. Your strength is rooted in spiritual lineage, your connection to God, the one who formed you with intention. While your parents guided you in the physical world, they could never manufacture the authority and purpose inside you that came from above. And now the Lord is saying, it is time to embrace that you were chosen before you could speak your first word marked, before you could make your first music decision. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. That is a prophetic signature over your life. Now, I want to share something with you that will bring this into even greater clarity. Music, because throughout history, God has always worked this way. He has always chosen ordinary people, placed them in extraordinary circumstances, and revealed their calling when the time was right. Let me show you what I mean. Think about Moses. Moses, a man who grew up in Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by wealth and power. But something inside him knew he didn't belong there. He felt the pull. He felt the weight of something bigger. And one day when he saw his people suffering, he tried to act on his own strength. He killed an Egyptian and had to flee into the wilderness. For 40 years, Moses lived as a shepherd, forgotten, hidden, wondering if that stirring he felt was just his imagination. But then at 80 years old, God met him at a burning bush. And God said, I have seen the misery of my people. I have heard them crying out, and I have come down to deliver them. And you, Moses, you are the one I am sending. Moses protested. He said, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? I am slow of speech. I am not qualified. But God said, I will be with you. And that chosen one is the pattern. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Moses didn't feel ready, but the calling was already on him. The wilderness wasn't wasted time. It was preparation time. And when the moment came, everything he had endured, every year in obscurity, every doubt he carried, it all made sense. Or considered David, a shepherd boy, the youngest in his family. So overlooked that when the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David's own father didn't even bother to call him in from the fields. But God said to Samuel, Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel chapter 16, and when David was finally brought in, God said, This is the one, anoint him. David didn't look like a king. He didn't have the resume. He didn't have the connections, but he had the calling. And years later, after facing Goliath, after being hunted by Saul, after hiding in caves and wondering if God's promise would ever come to pass, David stepped into his destiny. He became the king, not because he was the most obvious choice, but because God had marked him. And then there is Esther, an orphan girl raised by her cousin Morai, living in exile. No power, no platform, no influence. But through a series of divine orchestrations, she became queen. And when her people faced annihilation, Morai said to her, Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. For such a time as this, Esther didn't seek the throne. She didn't campaign for recognition, but God positioned her, prepared her, and when the moment came, she had to choose. Would she step into the calling or shrink back in fear? She chose courage. She chose obedience, and an entire nation was saved. Do you see the pattern? Moses, David, Esther, they all felt the stirring. They all experienced the wilderness. They all doubted. They all wondered if they were enough. But the calling was never about their strength. It was about God's faithfulness and chosen one. The same is true for you. You are not here by accident. The struggles you have faced, the years that felt wasted, the moments you felt invisible, they were not random. They were preparation, just like Moses in the wilderness, just like David in the fields, just like Esther in exile. You have been positioned for such a time as this. And now, God is about to reveal it to you in music, a way you cannot deny. But here is what most people miss. The calling doesn't come with a detailed roadmap. It comes with signs, indicators, spiritual markers that confirm you are entering the shift. And I want to give you 5 specific signs that many chosen ones experience as they move into this new season. If you recognize even one of these, pay attention because it means the door is opening. Sign number 1, increased spiritual sensitivity. You may notice that you are more aware of the unseen. You feel shifts in atmosphere. You sense things before they happen. You discern people's hearts and motives more clearly. Dreams become more vivid, more frequent, more prophetic. This is not